Hi, welcome to Business Influencers. I'm your host, Chris Salem. You found us here at the TALRadio network. Again, we are excited to have you here. Again, each and every week we have subject matter experts that come in to share their words of wisdom and insights to help raise your personal and business influence to the next level. If there is any content that has not been covered on the show that you would like to see in the future, feel free to reach out to us here at chris@christophersalem.com. Today's show is being brought to you today by Alumni Direct. Alumni Direct is a new social media community platform dedicated to bringing alumni together from all different generational types and an opportunity to meet new people for the first time. Now, this is a membership program, but it takes all the noise out of social media. No more of those noisy notifications. You get to come in when you want to generate genuine and authentic relationships and to share the content of choice that you like to in a group or groups that you want to interact with. If you'd like some more information about Alumni Direct, check them out at alumnidirect.com. That's alumnidirect.com. Well, we got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about how to, choose the right business technology for your business. Regardless if you're a solopreneur, small business owner, small to mid-sized company, we all have to make the right choices, especially in today's world, with the right technology that's going to help move your business to the next level. And so with that being said, we're going to be talking to our subject matter expert today. His name is Ryan Arcoraci. He is a seasoned business development professional with a strong focus on SaaS, web development, and online projects. With a technical edge and a knack for innovative sales strategy, Ryan exceeds in driving growth and enhancing customer engagement across various industries. Currently, Ryan is helping small businesses with a focus heavily on home services and franchise consultants. And without further ado, we welcome Ryan Arcoraci to the show. Ryan, how you doing today?
I'm good, Chris. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to have you here. This is an area that is so important,
Yeah.
with SaaS, business technology in itself, and I know you've been focusing a lot lately on home services and
Yeah.
franchise consultants and so on. And feel free to talk about those areas as well here, because we do have people that listen to our show in those areas.
hmm
But we'd like to, just talk about just the general landscape of what business technology, what's happening out there that you can share, and then maybe some of the trends and facts that are coming around that are showing that most businesses should be leaning towards these types of tools and resources.
Yeah, I think, Chris, the biggest thing going on right now is people understanding that AI is a big part of, business operations and sales and marketing. It's a buzzword out there and everybody's talking about it, but I think a lot of people, because it's so new, they don't quite understand, well, what does it mean for me? What does it mean for my business? So I think business owners really need to look at AI and automation, because I really believe that in the next 5 to 10 years, automation is going to be everywhere. AI is going to be everywhere, and businesses need to get on top of that now. But they need to understand how it's effective and how to use it for their particular business, because everybody's so different. I don't think people believe that it's gonna take over. I shouldn't say take over, because that sounds bad, but I
Yeah.
believe that it's going to be a major influence in the next several years. And I think people need to understand how it works, how to use it, and how to be efficient with it and really grow with it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Would it be safe to say, yeah, we don't want to be dependent on it, but yet to know that it is a resource or a tool that we can leverage, that can help us,
Yeah.
especially in the area, focusing on the areas that we are good at to move sales forward and increase revenue and profit in our business.
Right. I think people feel like, they think about the Terminator movie where, oh, no, what's going to happen? The robots are going to take over and
Yeah.
humanity is doomed, right? I think that's a little dramatic. I think what it really means is we got to work together. We got to use it effectively together with people and resources that we have, and play nice with it, play in the sandbox like with the other kids. We play nice with it. We work well with it. We use it correctly. And we can see a lot of benefit and a lot of value from it. But we have to use it correctly. We have to plan for it, and we have to make sure that it has its place in our operations correctly, and it has its place in our sales and our marketing where it's effective, and where it enables success. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And what do you start? I mean, besides AI, I mean, are there any other things that you're seeing right now for, franchises, consultants in that area, home services, just, even any small business? What are you seeing besides AI? Is it just AI, or do you see other tools that could be from a technology standpoint that could be quite helpful in making them more efficient, allowing them to delegate more and focus on the priorities that really matter?
I think it's really about focusing on building content and creating content as a brand for your business, whether you're just a single entrepreneur or you're a company. You are your own personality, you are your own brand. So I think it's important to use platforms to do podcasting, stuff that you and I are very familiar with. We've been doing it for years.
Yep.
What's great now is everybody can be a voice, everybody can be an image for their brand or their business. So I think people need to take advantage of all the tools out there to create podcasts, get it out there, use automation with messaging, with emails and text messages, and get your content out there. I think the trend is to be less salesy like it used to be back in the day. It was all, hey, cold call, bug people, knock on doors. Now it's be a resource, be someone who can create
Yep.
content and get the content out there and let people know I'm an expert I'm an expert in roofing. I'm an expert in, kitchen renovation. I'm an expert in as being a hairstylist. Whatever your business is,
Yeah.
you are an expert in that, and you need to use the technology to get the content out there to get people to trust and learn from you. And I think that's key. I know that's not really involving technology, but it is because
No, no, absolutely. No,
you
I
have to
love
do
what you
that.
just said, and it's so true. And because again, the customer or consumer is more evolved. They know, I mean,
Right.
they have information at their fingertips. It's not like, hey, if I'm going to buy a new car, I got to go to the dealer so they can fill me in and
Yeah.
everything that's going on in the car with the car industry and what's going on with new cars. No, I can look that up and
Yeah.
I'm well informed. I don't need to have somebody now telling me that. I just have to have somebody that's going to be more resourceful, that's going to
Right.
empower me to know that I'm going to make the right decision
Yeah.
in terms of using a certain product, service, or both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of things I'm hearing is we live in what's called a post-trust society where people are, I guess, less trustworthy of people. People are vetting people more carefully. They're looking at reviews. They're looking at what other people are saying. They're asking friends and family for referrals, or they're watching videos. They're going on YouTube and social media and they're watching videos to hear what others are saying about the business and hear what the business is saying about themselves. And they're really strictly evaluating the business before they even make a decision to buy. So that's another reason why using the technology and the content and everything you're creating needs to build that trust and credibility because you're right, Chris, like the landscape has changed, the buyer mindset has changed, and a lot of that is influenced by technology and all the stuff that's out there. So,
Yeah. No, so true. So true. Yeah. So what would you advise, if you were, we have listeners that are listening now and those that,
mm,
would be listening later. What
yeah,
would you advise that small business owner, anybody that, that's now considering, hey, I got to do something better than I'm doing now
yeah,
to give me the edge, make me more competitive,
yeah.
to raise the level of service and create a better experience for the customers, clients, industries that industries I serve.
The one thing that I tell a lot of my clients that I work with is really to understand that you can be innovative. I think every business throughout history, even in the last few decades, look at McDonald's or any of these big brands, they've always found a way to innovate their business and be an edge above their competition. I always use the example of McDonald's with the drive-through window, right? Before McDonald's had a drive-through window, it was just a burger stand pretty much. But once they put in that drive-through window and people realized I can just drive up and pay and get my food and drive away or sit with my family in the park and eat, that's so convenient, right? And that was the one little thing that completely changed the dynamic of that business, right? And I think every business can do something to innovate using technology. Like I'll tell a home service person, why not, when a lead comes in, somebody who wants you to renovate their kitchen or something, why not send them an email with a video of you, an intro video, just saying who you are, what you do, and just saying, hey, I'm looking forward to meeting you. I'm looking forward to helping you and working on your home and all that. Little tiny things like that, even though it sounds silly and small, really change the dynamic of how you work with your customers and your leads and how they see you and their impression of you changes. So I'm always telling businesses, think about all you have going on, all the technology you have, and where you can really innovate. And innovate doesn't mean you need to launch a new $1 million idea. It just means do something small that puts you above or separates you from your competition. And it doesn't have to be something that's, exponentially expensive, right? It just needs to be something that is a little bit different. Um,
Yeah.
and maybe it grows from there. Maybe you build on it from there, but that little something is what can separate you from everybody else that is doing what you're doing. Every other person that cleans houses, every other person that fixes windows, every other person that does roofing. Just find that one thing that could be different, and that will really change your business, I think.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So in terms of like when you were talking about, these tools and obviously
Yeah.
AI can play an important part in create not only creating structure with content, but there's got to be a strategy to the content too, because
Right.
to get the engagement, to get
Yeah.
people, to really identify with their challenge that could be better, the results they seek and know, especially from a sales perspective, and how that technology now can play a role in reducing the number of touch points on the buyer's journey, which can then convert more business,
Yeah.
depending upon what the business is. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, see if you could share any other insights to that process that I feel could be very beneficial to the audience here.
So yeah, I work with a tool called Client Tether. It's a sales automation platform that's really designed for home service professionals, home service franchisors. And one of the things that we offer is what's called these automated plans or these automated sequences. And people think a lot of times when I bring up automation, people go, "Oh, well, that's just robotic." I don't want to be sound like a robot when I'm sending these messages. And I tell people, it's not that, right? It's personalized. With our system, you can literally put in their name, you can plug in their name. It's going to send a personalized text. It's going to send a personalized email to them. But you can get into the idea that automation can be overused. It's about using it in the right part of the customer journey, right? So if you have someone you send a quote to, and they're not responsive to you, you might want to put together a campaign. I shouldn't say a campaign because it's probably just a short few messages that aren't saying, "Hey, why haven't you paid this quote yet?" Or, "Hey, have you looked at the quote? Do you have any questions?" That's all generic messaging. What you should be sending is testimonials from maybe a video testimonial from a past client, or maybe some educational materials. Like, "Hey, here's a podcast we did about our particular industry. Here's the testimonial from a customer I worked with. So while you're looking over this quote, I just wanted to share this with you, or I wanted to share this ebook I wrote, or something," right? So you're building trust and credibility through the automation with those emails, those texts, and maybe even a phone call, um, to build the trust and credibility. So they go, "Hey, these people really know what they're doing. I like what they're sending me. I'm learning from it. And now I have that trust and level of trust and credibility where I'm ready to really move forward with this quote and get things going." Um, so it's about doing it in the right places in the customer journey. And even after the sale happens, even after the customer journey, quote unquote, ends, you still want to retain that customer. You still want to ask for referrals, and you still want to build that lifelong relationship. And automation plays a part in that as long as you're using it correctly and as long as you use the right content and the right messaging and the right materials. You could have a lifelong customer that brings you continual referrals forever, and that's and
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you feel like when you look at these tools, you got to have a strategy, right? You got to know
Mhm.
how everything is going to connect the dots, like how this tool can help this, and
Yeah.
then how that can help this. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, if you don't, then a lot of times you're not going to benefit from what that tool or that technology can actually do. So it's important that if you're, if you're in doubt or
Yeah.
you don't fully understand, that you reach out to someone, that understands it, like a
Yeah.
resource, a trusted advisor, somebody like
Yeah.
yourself, and what you and client tether are doing and so on. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, I think you're 100% right, Chris. Like you got to have a strategy. So I tell people before you spend any money on anything, sit down with your team by yourself and just really look at what am I trying to accomplish? What are my goals? What do I have right now? And how does it all fit together? You know, do I have an email marketing platform? Am I paying a social media company to help me with social? Am I paying, other lead sources, or am I doing SEO on my website? Or is my website even like looking good? Is it a good lead capture tool, or is it old? Is it mobile optimized? There's all these little gears shifting you've got to look at, but before you get overwhelmed and you drive yourself nuts, just sit down and say, here's what I have. How do I get all of these tools to click? How do I get them all to work together? So I've created a process that creates a good customer journey. I'm responding to leads quickly. We're moving them along the sales process. They're getting a quote. Everything is flowing nicely and it's working. And even when it's working, you need to have data too. So you need to know, why is it working well? I think when people oftentimes think, oh, sales aren't happening, I've got to look at why they're not happening. You do need to look at that, but you also need to look at why sales are happening. What is the reason why this person bought from me? And why do they do it so quickly? Is it the salesperson? Is it the process? Is it the messaging? Is it the lead source? So you need to look at all angles of the journey and the close and figure out what's working, why it's working, why it may not be working, and then continually tweak it. But it's all comes down to planning and strategizing before you
I agree.
dump a ton of money into something. Yeah.
I agree 100%. I'm always said the four pillars of success are our foundation and how we think, and then
Yeah.
how well we are prepared, and then we execute on what we prepare, and
Yeah.
then measure to see what's working, what's not, and repeat the process again and
Right.
again and again. So true on that. If for those that are, listening and those listening later, let's say they're okay, they're going, wow, this is enlightening. Ryan's giving us so much great info. What would be the first thing that you would recommend they start with, with this process, with developing a plan, a
Yeah.
strategy, that type of thing?
I mean, I think the first thing is deciding, your goals, right?
Yeah.
And where you want to be. And if you're not where you want to be, talk to, your team, your marketing people, your salespeople, and maybe someone like myself to look at what is the roadblock there? Where are we not achieving what we want to achieve, and why? And it may not be you need a system. It may just be the process is wrong, right? So look
Yeah.
at everything you have, look at your process, and look at what is the roadblock, right? It might be your sales skills. Maybe your salespeople need help. Maybe it's your process with your quoting. Maybe it's the content you're creating. I don't know. It could be any number of things. But what I try to do with people is say, let's just look at what's your destination and what's stopping you from getting there. And then we look at everything going on to see and try to pinpoint, oh, it's this, it's this thing. And if we can find that together, then I think we can start a plan from there, if that makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense. And one thing that came to mind when you were saying that, any successful business, especially the owner has to understand you're never going to be able to do everything yourself. You're never going to
Right.
be everything for everyone.
Yeah.
And if you're always trying to figure out everything, you're going to take that energy and focus away from the things that you really are good at that you should
Yeah.
be focusing on. So it would be a good investment to tap into a resource like Client Tether, you personally,
Yeah.
and or it could be other tools that might be required, that type of thing,
Mhm.
because that insight from someone who understands it'd be so valuable. So you're not
Yeah.
spending all that time trying to figure it out on your own.
Yeah. And I'm more of a consultative salesperson. I'm a salesperson at heart, but to be honest, I will, if we're not a fit for somebody, I am more than open and honest to tell them, look, we're not a fit, but here's another option you might want to look at, or here's
Yeah.
another source, or here's someone I can refer you to, because we aren't a fit for everybody. We're not a one size for we're not a universal system. There are some industries we just can't work with.
Yeah.
But when it comes to home services and any service-based business, yeah, we're really a good fit for that, and we can really break down how to grow your business with us, and how strategically we can be a good part of that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. And like you said, and would it be safe to say, Ryan, that, this is an ongoing thing. It's not like, hey, you do this once. This is something
Yeah.
you got to keep up on tabs, of what's out there, and,
Yeah.
aligning yourself with alliance partners like yourself that can, kind of be that voice that can kind of alert you to what's out there to help, that could
Yeah.
help your business, help, because I know sales enablement is a huge area. It's been,
Yeah.
in my opinion, a big area for the last 7 years, but not
Yeah.
only until really recently that it's really, really starting, people are starting to put their attention on it. And it
Yeah.
could be in so many other areas of running a business as well. So, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, any insights to that?
Well, one of the things I try to do with new clients is really we train them. Obviously, we put them through a training process. It takes about 2, 3 weeks or so. But really, after that is when the ball really starts rolling. So
Yeah.
I try to sit down. You talk about sales enablement, which I agree with 100%. Is I try to be that person. So we sit down and we go, how are you using the system? And a lot of times they've just learned it, so they really don't have the right strategy down. So I try to sit down and go, let's look at how you're using it. Let's look at what you're doing, and let's try to make it better, and
Yeah.
look for the gaps that might be there. And I've gone out of my way to help people with making YouTube thumbnails and having them on my own podcast to give them some content, just helping people out so that they can they can see the value that I bring outside of just the technology. I try to also bring some creativity to it as well. So yeah, I mean, it's enablement is important. It's important to know how you're using things, and really have people like resources like myself who can help you be successful with it for sure.
Yeah, so true. So
Yeah.
true. And I hope listeners that, again, you're taking notes. This is some valuable information that Ryan is sharing. In a few minutes here, we're gonna let you know, Ryan's gonna share with you a little bit more about Client Tether in itself, what they're doing, a
Yeah.
little bit about himself and how you get in contact with them. So as we get closer to the end of the show, what I
Mhm.
would like to see, Ryan, if you could share, just something again to kind of bring everything together, like for, about this topic, choosing the right tactic. We talked about having a plan, a strategy, choosing your
Yeah.
goals, and now again, seeking out resources that will help you now to, that way you're able to make the right decision, right investment into
Yeah.
those technology resources and tools that can move you forward. Anything else that you haven't covered that you feel would be necessary to kind of bring everything full circle?
Yeah, I would just say, really just look at everything you're doing, look at your goals, really, really figure out a plan, and don't jump the gun on anything. Don't jump the gun and spend tons of money. I hear people all the time spending tons of money on systems, or they're customizing their own system, and it really worries me because it can cost them a lot of money. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. So before you do anything like that, talk to people, talk to your peers, talk to people you know in your network, research online, and just work with people that can help you make a good decision. And because I think these days, we're just bombarded with so much information, it's hard to sift through the clutter. So that
Exactly.
would be my advice there. I hope that's
Great.
helpful. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Well,
Yeah.
I want to thank you personally for taking the time to be here with us here today. It's such valuable information,
Yeah.
and not only for
Thank
myself,
you.
but also from the team here at TALRadio, and also for the Touch of Life Foundation, which is the holding company that oversees everything. I would love to have the audience get to know you, how to reach you, and anything you'd like to share briefly about Client Tether as well. Anything that you'd like to leave with the audience?
Yeah, I'll just tell people, you can go to our website, clienttether.com. We are a team of people that understand home services. We understand franchising. We understand business. We've all been involved in business to some capacity. So you have a good team. So you can go look me up on LinkedIn. It's Ryan Arcoraci. I also have the Business Stories with Ryan Arcoraci podcast. You can listen to that. I've got over 130 episodes with entrepreneurs and experts all over the world. So yeah, go look me up on LinkedIn and look us up online. You can go to ryanarcoraci.com. I have my own website. So I really appreciate the opportunity, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. We greatly appreciate you and all your knowledge and insight. Again, we highly encourage everybody, reach out to Ryan, get to know him, check out Client Tether. We'll make sure that that information will be in the show notes as well. Again, as Ryan had talked about earlier in the show, do your due diligence.
Yeah.
And the people that encourage you to do due diligence and give you the resources to do due diligence, those are the ones I'm going to trust first
Right.
over someone that's going to be just kind of selling me the sizzle, so to speak. And a
Yeah.
lot of that out there, no doubt about it. So
Yeah.
with that being said, Ryan, thank you so much for your time. We greatly appreciate it. And listeners, we want to thank you each and every week joining us here at Business Influencers. Again, we are committed each and every week to bringing subject matter experts like Ryan in to share their words and wisdoms to help elevate your personal and business level of influence to the next level. Again, we feel free to listen to the show. Again, it's in its entirety. And again, we want to wish everybody a successful rest of your week. And we'll see you next week on the next show. Take care.